Okay, so when we left off in the last lesson, we were completing these sentences and we had done A and B of number three and wanted to take a look at C now. C, May bought a shirt that was on sale for $24.50. That price represents 40% of the shirt's original price. So, what was the original price? I'm going to erase this stuff here just so I can get it out of the way. Don't worry, it's in the recording from yesterday's lesson. So, the sale price was for $24.50, and that price represents 40%. So, remember, um, we are looking at, remember, we have to look at the part versus the whole, and that's always going to equal the percent out of 100. So it would be super easy to say, all right, well, let's have a look at this. Now, in this case, the part is 24.50, right? Because that's the sale price. And we are looking for the original price, which we don't know. So that's what our X would be, our unknown. And we know that this price represents 40% of the shirt's original price. So that would be 40%, which of course is out of 100. Now, we just got done discussing in the entry task that when you have a proportion like this set up, if you cross multiply, you can say, all right, well, X times 40 is 40X, and 24.50 times 100 would be 2450, because our decimal place just moves over two places when you multiply by 100. Now, all I have to do is divide by 40 on both sides. But it's very important to make sure that you do set up your proportion correctly, or all is lost. So 40 divided by 40, those cancel each other out and make X. 2,450 divided by 40 is 61.25. So that tells us that the original price, X, would have been $61.25. All right. Any questions about that one? Does anybody need to see that one another way? If so, I would be more than happy to do so. Otherwise, we can just continue on to working on question number 4, which talks about weighted grades. Okay. Well, I don't see a question mark in the chat, so we will move on to question number 4. Haley's history teacher uses weighted averages. This means that some of the scores count more than others when calculating the average. Fill in the table and calculate Haley's history grade. Okay. Well, this is all very interesting. Looking at the categories, quizzes are worth 10%. Homework is worth 20%. Group work is 30%, and tests are worth 40%. Okay. Well, we are looking at in one category in quizzes, Haley received 80 points out of 90 possible. And because that category is 10% out of 100, then we can find out what her points after they've been scaled are right here, 8.8 repeating. Okay, so let's just take a look at how they arrived at that. Now, she got 80 out of 90. See if this is how they're going to be trying to set that up. And this was 10% out of 100%, right? So the category weighting is Oh, just a second here. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I see what they're trying to do to us here. All right. So 80 out of 90 is, of course, we could do this the long way, but what is that out of 100%? All right. And to get that, of course, we could go, all right, well, 80 times 100 is, oh, come on, right, 8,000. And that's 90x. Okay. Now, 8,000, bear with me here. I'm going to show you this way so I can show you the easier way in just a second. Now, I divide each of these by 90 to find out what x is, right? And that equals x is 88.8 repeating. So what she scored was 88.8% in that particular category, but you'll notice that her scaled points is 8.8. And the reason for that is because this category is only worth 10% overall. So there's an extra step that we have to go through, which kind of stinks. We take this extra step, we take that 88.80, and that's out of 100, right? So 88.8 out of 100, but this is only going to be 10%. So how do I get from 100 to 10%? Well, we could set up another thing where we have to cross multiply, or we could say, well, I'm going to divide by 10 here, divide by 10 here. And when I do that, 88.8, I have to move my decimal back one place, and this becomes 8.8 repeating. Now, that's a really long and complicated way to do that, and we don't necessarily have to take that long of a route to do it because it's not really worth the hassle to get to that point. So let's try doing it a little bit differently. So for the next one, just to see how that is. So I'm going to erase all this. As much fun as that was, right? Okay. So let's take a look at the next one here. The group work is 25. Oops, trying to erase something. 25 out of 30. And well, interestingly enough, since that category, the group work is only worth 30% out of 100, they ended up with 25, and that makes sense. But let's just really try and decide how I best want to do this. Remember the first one that we did there? It was 80 out of 90. But, what is that? If we know that the category is out of 10, what would that be out of 10, right? X out of 10. So let's multiply 90 times X. We're doing the first one just the way we'd already done it, or not the way we'd done it, but a shorter way. 90 times X is 90X. 80 times 10 is 800. Divide by 90, divide by 90, and X equals 800 divided by 90. 800 divided by 90 equals 8.8 repeating. So you see how we went straight to that, because instead of making this out of the 100, because it isn't out of 100, we're only looking at 10% of this. So let's do this with the next numbers that they have there. So the other one was 25 out of 30. I'll do this in a different color. 25 out of 30. And that's going to be, well, This one isn't anything difficult. 25 out of 30, that seems like a no-brainer, right? It's just going to be 25. Why would it change? So I guess we have time. Let's look at 175 out of 200, and that's worth 40% of your overall grade. So I've got to scroll down, scrolling down, scrolling down. 175 out of 200, and that's going to be worth 40% of your overall grade. Bum-ba-bum. So cross multiply 200x equals 175 times 40. 175 times 40. Let's try that one more time because my calculator. 175 times 40, 7,000. Divide by 200. And those cancel out. And get x equals, divided by 200, 35. So then go back up. This would be 35 out of 40. And I am officially out of time.